Hi there, I'm Nancy Zintsmaster, and I'm here with Katherine Finley. And today we want to talk to you about the best method to help your horses release any stored trauma and emotions that they pick up from your client sessions. And I've had a lot of coaches and therapists come to me wondering if their horses are holding the trauma and emotional weight of their clients. So they say their horses aren't really engaged all the time and they seem despondent and they really don't know how to help them get through this. And we've seen this as a common theme in the EFL world, and this is why we developed our LEAP program, Liberty Horsemanship for Equine Assisted Professionals, because we wanted to make change and give the horses a better deal to help them regulate their nervous systems during and after the client sessions. So, horses are co-regulating with us all the time. So they're so attuned to our nervous systems that they do take on this emotional weight. And Katherine, I know that you've had a lot of experience with this, working with horses in your practice. So if you could just share with us a little bit about what you've noticed before and after you started practicing the Waterhole Rituals Liberty training.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting, Nan, is that I didn't really see what my horse was holding or going through until I saw the contrast. So I worked for years with my horse in a therapeutic setting where he was working with a lot of teenagers and adults with trauma that were working with depression, anxiety, and trauma. And what I noticed about him was that he wanted to be a good boy. He was often compliant, but he had this anxiety under the surface that I thought was really just part of his personality, to be honest. And he
Yeah.
was really, really good at what he did. He's a beautiful healer. And then I met you and I came to your farm and saw your horses and saw how curious and engaged and optimistic they were, how they wanted to be in the ring with you and with me when we were working with them. They were like lining up to, to
Yeah,
participate.
they do.
They do. And I was blown away. And it was like in that moment, it was like I knew something was missing in what I was doing with my own horse, but I couldn't put words to it and didn't know what it was. And I just knew I had found it. And so then, I took a deep dive into learning the Waterhole rituals with you. And when I brought them back to my horse, I mean, he's a different horse. I
Yeah.
That anxiety that I saw in him before, I don't see it all anymore. It's like he's really comfortable in his body and in his skin. And I lead retreats with him. I do sessions with him and workshops with him. And he, you know, feels my leadership presence with him. He knows he's connected with me and can work with me to release anything he picks up from sessions. And he's a different horse.
I
So
know. It's
grateful that
so
you and really want to share this with the world.
I know, I know. It is our passion to share this with the world. Horses deserve it. And, it's so beautiful to be able to have a model. I don't see that a lot out there in the world of EFL. And when I go to barns where people are working with horses in client sessions for therapy or just coaches, using the horses as, partnering with the horses, sometimes I see that it would appear that they're partnering, but they're not really partnering. The horse isn't really a true partner where he's actually guiding the session for you, with you 100%. And that line that I always love to say about how can we expect to bring a client to their fullest potential if a horse has not yet been able to experience freedom and be able to be in the fullest sense of himself. And so that's something that I really feel is important because we know, I mean, it's been proven that horses are energetically co-regulating with us and they feel everything, right? They sense everything. So when we have a way, when we can notice as facilitators that the horse is checking out or the horse is disengaged, it gives us a lot of information as to what's going on with our client, number one. But it also allows us to be able to be a noticer of that and then go into working with the horse, with the Waterhole rituals to bring him back and regulate him. So I think that's a really important, and it gives us this model. It gives us a way. It's what we're teaching people to do is how to tap into their natural instincts so that they feel safe, that they feel seen, heard, and felt. And I know that all of my students that are in this world of EFL, these people are great caregivers to their horses. They're highly attuned human beings, but they don't always really notice or see this lack of, I don't know what the word is, but this like disengaging that the horse is doing, or this silent burden that the horse is carrying.
Well, I'm a really good example of that, right? Like I
Right.
really didn't until I saw the contrast and the piece that the Waterhole Rituals teach about, like it's tapping the horses back into their natural instincts. That was this huge light bulb moment for me because my horse was before he was going through the motions to avoid pressure. He knew that if he did certain things, he wouldn't have the pressure stay on him or pressure increase on him, right? Rather than he's tapped into his natural instincts and he wants to partner with me or the client. He's inspired to, that's his choice, his desire, rather than he's avoiding pressure in some way. And that
100%.
I
Yeah.
feel like has made all the difference, right? He's a true willing partner now.
Well, he's also free. So, for anybody out there who doesn't really know what liberty training is, it is a way to engage and work with the horse that he's completely free to express himself. So, the horse is able to get away from. So, for those of you who don't know what liberty training is, it is working with the horse in a free and open environment where the horse has a choice. So, the horse is able to connect or disconnect. And he's free to do that without any pressure to have to bring him back to the client or to bring him back to the session. And it's really valuable information for the facilitator. But what do we do when that happens? So we're giving a client session and the horse just leaves. So the Waterhole Rituals brings this method into the work that we can start to work on bringing back that bond, getting the horse to trust us and be willing to be able to come back. And I love it because it takes just a couple minutes. But when you work with them with their natural instincts like this, they immediately feel your leadership, know you've got them, and then they come back into the session fully engaged. So it's no halters, there's no tack. So, the horse doesn't have to re-engage, but normally they will when you go through this way of interacting with them. You've seen that over and over, right? With Dusty.
And bringing it back to, horses carrying the emotional weight of the client and trauma, when they're tapped into their natural instincts, they know how to move through that energy, and release that energy. Horses, any animal in the wild, they don't develop anxiety or trauma. It's only animals in captivity that
Yeah.
develop those things, right? And so this method keeps them tapped into those natural instincts, and then they are able to release it in the way that they know how.
Yeah, and I think it's important for people to be able to notice, what does that look like? Like when I go to barns, I was saying earlier, when I go to barns and I see some of the horses, they I know that they're loved and I know that they're cared for, but there is like a little glaze over them. I see it a lot in tour horses here in Costa Rica. They're just doing their job. They're just kind of like, okay, I'll get through this. I'm going to do this. And they comply. They want and seek connection more than anything. But it's almost like they're just kind of checking out just so they don't have to deal with it. And I don't know that everyone knows how to horse's head low and it's just his eyes are just kind of glazed over. Is the horse like completely like not observing the environment, right? Not curious about what's going on, which is what you mentioned before. Like with my horses, they're like curious about what's happening. They'll leave, they'll go eat hay, they'll come back, but they're curious and you can see it in their eyes. Their eyes are bright. They're excited when people come. And I think today, this is what we want for everyone to have, for the well-being of their horse, for the well-being of their practice and the clients as far as facilitators go, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I
So
feel like it prevents burnout all across the board, right? When we have a
100%,
willing,
yeah.
curious horse partner, then we're going to burn out less. We aren't going to burn out. Our horses aren't going to burn out because we're keeping them in this beautiful, true partnership, connected to their natural instincts. And then that space is going to provide the most healing space for our clients.
Well, the other thing about it too is that I didn't mention earlier, it's fun. It's like with this program, we're giving the facilitator exercises, fun things that they can do at liberty with their horse, which is working with their natural instincts, but it's giving them information. So if they use one of the exercises with a client, the client gets to do something fun and safe with the horse. The facilitator has already practiced the Waterhole Rituals with their horses. So they've already gotten their horses in this connected way before they ever bring this to a client, right? And then when the client practices an exercise, then they get to view that what's going on, what is the horse growth in the human in the session.
Absolutely, because they're building a real relationship with the horse. So then all of their relationship patterns show themselves very quickly with horses.
That's
And
true.
then they get to shift that pattern and then see their relationship change, which is just
I know it's so beautiful.
absolutely incredible. Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy that we got to share a little bit about this, and we're going to get on and do some other sessions just to be able to share this beautiful way of being with horses. So, anyone out there who's interested in our Liberty Horsemanship for Equine Assisted Professionals program, go to our website, www.carolynresnick.com, and you will see it under LEAP, LHEAP. We would love to share this work with you, and I hope that you resonate with this.